Can we hear now? Thank you for telling me. Sorry, guys. I'm trying with this streaming thing. Oh, gosh. I'm trying. And we just had an awesome conversation. Oh, jeez. I hate this. Computers are not my friends. I need somebody to come hook it up, make it work, and then we can talk. But okay, now, Lucy, I'm so sorry. We're gonna have to redo what we just talked about. So, what did you say was the first thing that you think you see most often that people think is true, but is no longer true about seahorses? What did you say about the mating? Right. And you talked about you've seen your seahorses change partners multiple times, right? And what'd you say? Right. So that's the reason that I think Lucy's probably saying that is that when we talked and you couldn't hear us, I was making the comment that I just wonder if maybe it was something to do with maybe captive bred seahorses that are within an aquarium, or seahorses within a tank might switch partners whereas they don't in the wild, because I had read an article, a journal article, where someone who actually looked at the genetics of the seahorses after they've, passed or whatever, was saying that if you actually look at the genetics, that partners in the wild do often go back to each other. And I know that they can for a certain season, but I knew from my personal experience, and now Lucy has shown us again, and she has seahorses. She does scientific studies, and she has seahorses that are not captive bred. So, and they switch partners. So that's something that's obviously not true. And we talked a little bit about flow, and Lucy was talking about how dwarf seahorses might need lower flow. They do need lower flow still, but even dwarf seahorses don't have the need for such low flow that people think. So it's just interesting to see how many different things have changed based on learning and so on and so forth. Hey Lucy, why don't you tell us about your what kind of studies are you doing right now? Lucy does. I'm sorry. Okay, let me see. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I want to have you back on too once I figure this out more, because it's just not working for me. I hate this so much. Okay. Um See, I think I had the audio settings perfect the last time, and now they're not. Is my personal opinion, but let me see. I'm sorry, guys. Let me try one more time here. Okay, Cruz, very fast. Lucy's going to talk, and I need you to tell me if you can hear her. Go ahead, Lucy.
1 2 1 2 Cruz. Do you hear me?
One, two,
Can
one, two.
you can you hear me, Cruz?
He'll answer in a minute, I'm sure.
Cruz!
Cruz! I love it. It's Wine Wednesday. Let's yell for Cruz, hey? No. Lucy, do you drink at all? I'm just curious.
No, I stopped drinking years ago because I had a liver tumor.
Oh no.
So since this, I don't drink anymore.
Well, I'm glad you don't, because of the health issue. That's great. Well,
Yeah, but I was not over drinking. I was drinking like sometimes a little bit.
that's kind of scary. That makes me want to go get my liver checked. but you'll just have to grab some flavored water and join us.
Now I have a bottle of Coke Zero near me.
Coke Zero, hey.
Yeah, you can hear it. Open it.
Hey. See, that's what I really want to do with this channel, is once I get it to where And by the way, Cruz can hear you now, so good. But once I get it to where it works like it's supposed to all the time and we can chat, then, I want to have the cork popping and all that cool stuff. But anyhow, so yeah, what I was saying is just kind of not really on the topic, but I'm just curious because I'm fascinated by some of the studies that you're doing. So, what are you currently working on? Or are you allowed to tell?
I'm not myself working on them.
Okay.
I'm just providing a DNA sample for a scientist to do studies on population of wild erectus in Florida.
Wow. And you said you're giving them DNA samples of the wild specimens in Florida. And do you have any idea what they're trying to find out, or do they not tell you?
Oh yeah, sure. She gonna tell me. Uh, she's basically doing a map of different genetical population of erectus in Florida,
Okay.
and with their distribution in Florida.
Okay.
And she also able to see if it's pure erectus or if hybrid with red eye. How do you say? Uh, I don't know how to pronounce Reidi.
Oh, Redeye. Yeah, no, you know what? Everybody pronounces it differently. So you're good. But go ahead. So they're trying to see what now? They're trying to see if how many.
Sometimes I don't hear you.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but sometimes there is some small cuts, so I
And
don't hear.
just to explain to you and to anybody watching, I believe in my heart of hearts that the reason is because I'm trying to use Hangouts. I am looking for a better option. We're going to try Discord next time because I think Hangouts just sucks. But I apologize, Lucy, that it keeps cutting in and out. We'll get better. But yeah. Anyways, so you said that you are basically giving them DNA samples of the red eye. Is that correct? What you said?
No, of the seahorse to see what's kind of if they are northern, southern, if they are hybrid of red eye or what.
Okay. Are they? Do you think they're trying to see if they're like mixing, or is it just a
They can
study?
tell if they are mixing. They can tell where is the line between the northern population and the southern population.
Yeah, that interests me too because erectus, they're not the same. You get erectus that are, I think it's the northern that can, that their gestation period's different, and
Yes,
so they're studying to see if they're all kind of mixing up. Is that what they're doing?
yeah,
Wow, that's crazy. I really seriously wish that I could go and at least do what you're doing. If not, be the one down there, oh man, I would love to be doing the work, the science work, the diving, even the lab work. I just think it's fascinating. So,
yeah. Totally agree.
um, and so okay, have you noticed anything different when you look at your seahorses that you are collecting to help science? Do you notice anything different between those and captive bred? Or are they all the
Uh,
same?
so far, I have just one captive bred, so I can really tell. And I just have this captive bred since 2 weeks, so I can't really tell the difference in behavior. But one thing that really amazes me is how familiar they become very fast.
Mm-hmm.
While I have my new captive bred Seahorse from Seahorse Source
Yes.
since 2 weeks, and she's still shy. And sometimes I get wild, and in 2 days they eat frozen food and they come to the front glass, and they are not shy at all.
You're kidding. That's crazy.
Yeah,
So you're basically saying that the ones that you work with come in and they're not shy, and whereas your captive bred is shy? That's
yeah,
crazy. You're ruining everything, Lucy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But that's fascinating. Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
I wonder too. I mean,
Maybe they figure out they are safe and they are. It's basically free food in unlimited amounts for them, so they are just happy. I don't know.
well, and that's true because I think you told me once that you have actually went to go and collect seahorses for your studies, and you've caught the same one, right? So I wonder
Yeah.
if they recognize you and know that they're
Oh,
safe.
sure, for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not totally sure they. Wait,
it's okay.
I'm not totally sure they recognize me, but they recognize the tank for sure.
Really?
They recognize the feeding station with basically a fish net.
Mm-hmm.
Like they immediately recognize it. You put the seahorse in the tank, you put the net, you move the net, and the seahorse come right to the net.
That's
So
amazing.
even if you don't recognize at first look the seahorse, you know this one
Right.
because you have already been in your tank.
Right. And that's, I mean, some people couldn't do that. So that's really cool that you can tell specific things that show that it's the same seahorse. And
Yeah.
so when you get a new seahorse that you have not had before, have not seen before, do they also go right to the net or do you have to train them?
No, absolutely not. No.
Okay. Okay.
No, they tend to hide a little bit.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
So I dim the light
Okay.
because a LED fixture I can choose the power of the LEDs.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, if there are other seahorse, they tend to be less shy because maybe they see the other acting well,
Mm-hmm.
and they say, "Oh, they look safe, so it should be good."
Yeah.
But they hide a little bit, and then they are not especially afraid.
Gotcha. Well, that's one of the tricks that I mean I personally have used for weaning fry, captive bred fry, is that if you put a seahorse that's already eating the frozen foods in with them, boy, they get it right away. They get it a lot quicker. And how long have you been helping with the different studies?
Uh, I can't tell exactly, but I have to check. But maybe I don't know. Since since last summer, something like that.
Oh, I mean, it was, yeah, I wasn't trying to quiz you. I just think it's so cool. I wish I could do it. I'm telling you. Um, but anyhow, so what would you, what would you tell, what, what would you say is the biggest difference like in the seahorse population right now? Are they seeming to be more abundant and healthier? I mean, are there more seahorses out there now, easier to catch and such?
I can hear you.
I'm sorry. Okay. What I said was, do you think that the population of seahorses in the ocean is going up? Do you think that there's more, like all the efforts in conservation and captive breeding, do you think that they are working because now there are more seahorses or no?
No, no, absolutely not. I
Oh,
think there is less yours because of habitat loss.
ah,
Because a lot of seagrass beds are disappearing and they are not coming back.
really? And I read a study the other
Oh,
day.
again,
Sorry, go ahead.
I can't hear you. You
Let's see. Well, let's see. Can you hear me now?
yeah.
Okay, so sorry. I'm sorry. um, I read a study the other day. Oh, what were we saying? I read a study the other day um, about how if they regrew the habitat, if they were able to make the habitat come back by growing new seagrass, that the seahorses would come back. You don't think that's true?
Oh, I think it might be true, but nobody can really tell. But for sure, it will help them.
Okay. Well, what would you like? Do you? I'm not. I know you can't save the world here, but I'm just curious. I was working on an article and trying to think of a way to make basically sustainability possible for seahorses, and meaning that we could keep them in our aquariums by using captive bred programs, but none of that will work if the habitat destruction continues. So what would we have to do to help that stop? You know what I mean? Do you have any thoughts or ideas on?
Uh, it's a big problem because habitat loss is due to a lot of factors. Most, the main factor is urbanization. All the spill of used water, rainwater, polluted water who goes into the shore.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty huge. And I know near me there is a device from ORCA Foundation
Okay.
who measure in real time the quality of water. And you see each time there is a rain, because I look it almost every day, and each time there is a rain, few hours or few minutes later you will see a huge rise of phosphate, for example.
Oh my gosh.
And all this stuff end up in the water, and it harm all the life.
Yeah.
And the more people, the more pollution there is in the water.
Right. It's just
There
it's
is also all the boating who come on seagrass, and who destroy the grass, who move all the sediments that goes on the blades, and the blades can photosynthesis because of that. There is so many impact due to human.
right. It's all our fault. Unfortunately, I agree. Um, I also know in a lot of places that they are putting together like I can't remember the exact term of it, but where they section off a place that people are not allowed to go into just
Yeah,
to keep the habitat intact. I wish I could remember the name of it, but do you know what I'm talking about? Where they,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
do you think that those work? Do you think that those are enough? I guess.
Enough, no, because it's pretty small area compared to the whole.
Man, it's kind of complicated to think about because I personally understand both sides of it. You can't. We're. I don't know. I understand both sides of it, and it's. I'd love to have an answer. I'd love to find an answer for helping them because it is
The problem
scary.
is there is economical choice were made against wildlife. For example, um there's in 2010 they did a big freshwater release from Lake Okeechobee in the Indian River Lagoon.
Okay.
It was very polluted water, and it ended up in the lagoon, who is not designed by nature to handle such big amount of fresh water, of polluted fresh water. And we had red tide, we had many fish die, we had even manatees were dying because
Right.
of cyanobacteria, because of lack of oxygen. All oyster died, seagrass beds were gone. It was a complete disaster. And since now, the Indian River Lagoon is still in very bad health.
Wow. And I mean, there's just so many things that are against nature, like gosh, I was reading the other day that even like climate change and all of this stuff is going to affect the ocean and gonna raise the temperature and mess up the bed, and oh my gosh, it's just scary. I wish there's so many organizations trying to help, but you just never know which are legitimate, I guess, and which are truly going to help. So I don't know. I don't know why I got off on this tangent, but it's a very scary thing. And I don't know. What do you think? If you could tell the world one thing, like stop doing this or this would help. Is there anything you can think of that might help the situation?
Also, if everybody was doing just a little bit, it will help a lot because we are hundred of million of people
Mm-hmm.
in the whole world, and just trying, for example, to reduce power consumptions a little bit will
Mm-hmm.
help. Avoid spoiling water. There is so many stuff, so many.
Yeah, and you're right. Every little bit helps. I agree. As far as actually, I have a question for you
Yeah.
because there are all of these studies, and I've read a lot of them, but I'm not versed on them. However, we blend the population of seahorses in the wild going down has been blamed on many things, habitat destruction, collection for either, Chinese medicine or for aquariums. And so I promote captive breeding and those type of things. But I'm trying,
I don't hear you.
I'm sorry. No, I stopped talking. I'm trying to think of
Okay.
how to pose the question. Um,
Okay.
I made a statement that I think that hobbyists might be the first chain in fixing some of it, meaning that hobbyists, if we started only buying captive bred or collecting, if we're doing so for science and so on and so forth, then we started demanding that we own, that our stores and our wholesalers and things like that only kept captive bred and things like that, that it would make a difference. But now talking to you, I'm kind of bummed out because I'm seeing that it's so much bigger of a picture.
Yeah.
So, um, do you think that like do you have any idea about how the trend has gone? Meaning, do you have any idea if there are more seahorses now than there were 10 years ago? Are these things helping a little bit, all the programs, or do you not know?
I think there is less.
You think there are less seahorses now?
Even yeah, yeah. Even if collecting were much more important few years ago,
You said what? Repeat that one more time.
I think there is less seahorse in the wild now than, let's say, 10 years ago. Even if 10 years ago there were a lot of collecting.
So basically, what you're saying is the habitat destruction is a much bigger problem than
Yeah.
even Chinese medicine.
You're talking worldwide.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, I wasn't, but I kind of made it worldwide, didn't I? I'm sorry, but yeah. I mean, what do you think is the biggest thing that we would need to face? Do you think it's habitat destruction, or do you think that?
It depends on the areas.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I mean, we're just chit chatting. I don't have any goal here. I honestly just do a lot of research and thinking and trying to think of ways to help and try to fix it. And I know I'm just one person and I can't, but you're absolutely right. Your point was absolutely correct that if all of us, if every person, if every company, if everything started trying to do things in a more environmentally friendly way, then it would make a difference. You're absolutely right. So, um, and I have not even been paying attention to see if anybody was asking anything. So let me check.
Yeah, just answer to a question of Cruz.
Feel free.
What?
Oh, I thought you were going to answer it. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, no, no. He asked me how are the samples collected. So I was saying him. I was collecting the seahorse myself and taking some small piece of fins or piece of siri.
Ah, gotcha. I'm sorry. I'm trying. The way this is supposed to work, the way this is supposed to work is that I'm supposed to be able to see everything in this chat right here on the side, which you can't even see, but I can't see any of it. So I wanted to go live again because the last one failed completely. I wanted to go live and chit chat with you, but pretty soon we'll be able to see the chat and see what people are saying in a side of the box. So I'm sorry I don't have it right yet, but you're getting the idea. So Lucy, as you can see, that if I was able to have more people come in, then we could sit and have this discussion and really talk about things and try to, figure things out. So kind of cool. But so how many seahorses do you have currently?
1, 2, 3, 4. Myself, my own seahorse, or all the seahorse?
All the seahorses. How many seahorses are in your house right now?
4, 5, 6, 7. 7 erectus, and I don't know exactly how many dwarfs.
Oh yeah, I know you've got the dwarfs going on. I still need some dwarfs, but um, do you have any favorites?
Really? No, no. For the dwarf, a few, but for erectus, really not. I just love them all.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So how do you keep up with all of them? How do you? I mean, is it a lot of work or?
Yeah, but I'm used to do routine tasks with fish tanks, so I'm very well organized to do the water changes, the feeding, and everything. So
Oh, I have a question. I'm actually writing an article on feeding seahorses also. What do you currently feed all of the seahorses?
for my erectus, I feed wild shrimp, wild amphipods, wild mysis. Some the wild I collect. Some of them eat fish fry also.
Mm-hmm.
I feed them also skeleton shrimp, um some small snails, and frozen mysis.
Did you say snails? They eat snails? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they even eat small hermit crabs.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, okay. Um,
And I'm pretty sure they can eat also the very small crab, but I don't want to risk it because if the little crab escape and hide in rocks, they're gonna grow and
right.
can be a danger later. So
I have another question. Sorry, I just keep thinking of questions for you. I never get to ask you and quiz you like this. It's cool. So what? How do you feel about the captive breeding for release programs? Meaning where people will breed seahorses to repopulate the wild. Do you think that that would work?
I don't think it's very good idea because um, they are supposed to be free of pathogen, but they might have never encountered bad pathogens and be, like Indian American when Spanish conqueror came and they all died from very simple disease like I don't remember the name.
I know you've told me this before. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but your point is absolutely correct. That's my thoughts too. Is my problem with the release programs is that you're putting seahorses that are not equipped to deal with the ocean back into the ocean. So I was just curious. I'm just kind of throwing questions at you.
And also, they might doesn't even know what food are.
Exactly. Exactly. My seahorses stand at the glass and beg. I don't think that would work out for them very well in the ocean. It's not going to be flying mice down at them. Um, excuse me. So, let's see what else. Oh, I have a question. What did you do? Did you get the prize from the contest for the copepods? Did you get them?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Did the
Yeah, they
seahorses
are
love
doing
them?
very, very well, and I'm very happy with the very small ones because I succeed to raise needlefish larvae. I've never been able to successfully raise them before, and because I think of these copepods, I don't remember the name, but the very, very small one,
Hmm.
I succeed to grow them.
So, for anyone watching, just really quick, I wanted to explain that we did a contest on the Seahorse Whisperer Society channel and on the YouTube channel. And Chad Clayton of Reed Mariculture, however you say it, ran a contest and he gave us a whole bunch of information about culturing copepods. You can see the videos on my channel. And he did a giveaway of some apocyclops. And this is a copepod that does not require live phytoplankton. So that makes it a lot easier for a hobbyist who doesn't want to have multiple cultures, phytoplankton and copepod and then this and that and da 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 set up. You can just do the apocyclops and, buy bottled phytoplankton to feed it, and then it becomes a really nutritious snack for your animals or for your tank, and that's for reef tanks also. And so Lucy is the person that actually won the contest. So I'm so glad to hear that the pods worked out. I'm actually working on some cultures myself because do you think that it's like you, for instance, have the luxury of going out and collecting live foods to feed to your seahorses? Do you think that that's really important, that if people cannot collect live foods, that they have at least marine foods once in a while to feed their seahorses? Does that make sense? Trying to think how to say it easier. Do you think that it's important to sometimes give variety and not just frozen foods long term?
I I depend. I think it depends on the quality of frozen food,
Mm,
but for sure, like us, a variety in food and quality food is important.
absolutely. Do you have any, as far as frozen foods? Because like I said, I'm actually writing about this right now. Do you have any frozen foods that you prefer? I know you get to get the live ones, which you're so lucky. But do you have any frozen foods that you prefer?
I use I carry BioPure Mysis and PE Mysis.
Yep, those are the two best in my opinion.
Yeah,
Also, Hikari
I only
and
use these two ones.
what'd you say? I'm sorry.
I'm only using these two frozen food
Yep,
for,
I actually
and
have.
I froze my excess live food.
You freeze them?
Yeah,
Wow. I'm curious to know, do they retain the quality? Do they stay good? I mean,
this doesn't stay good so long, and they have to be eaten very fast because they turn very fast.
gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, because on fusejaw.com, Tammy Weiss, I can't say her name properly, sorry, but she has an excellent article on frozen foods and watching the quality. Everything that we're talking about right now is extremely important because if you don't have quality actually frozen foods that are, like if they've been thawed multiple times, then it gets bacteria and all sorts of stuff. Hey, I'm curious, with your collection of wild foods for the seahorses. Obviously, you're feeding seahorses that are collected from the wild also, but have you ever run into any troubles? Have you ever had a tank doing really well and then all of a sudden you added a food and then they had problems, or no?
I used to have it once when I had way, way, way too more live mice,
Okay.
and I didn't realize a lot of them was swallowed by the canister, and
Oh, okay.
that was not good. But I saw it very fast, and so I did a big water change. I cleaned everything, and it was okay. But
Gotcha. No, I was just wondering because I know with hobbyists that are hatching like Artemia or brine shrimp, one of the biggest problems that people run into is that if the culture is not kept really really clean, then they can be end up causing a problem to the seahorses because they're not clean. And so I just wondered, when you're collecting, we talked earlier about how there's all this habitat destruction in the ocean, and that there's all this pollution, and there's all these problems. And I just wondered if you had ever noticed any problems due to live foods, like bringing in a problem. But it sounds like you have not. So that's good.
Yeah, I didn't have any problem with live food yet.
And,
But there is also a possibility of parasites.
right. That's kind of what I was getting at, kind of thinking. So how do you do anything to make sure that you don't bring in anything, or do you just hope?
Oh, I just check.
I'm sorry, you broke up. Can you say it one more time? Uh-oh.
I don't shrimp. I look if they are, if they, I can see parasite on them.
Okay.
Um, but I guess there is also internal parasites probably in the food. But I don't know nothing especially.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, and obviously there's a big difference if you're dealing with wild caught seahorses, that they're used to it anyways. Not that you would want to bring something in, but it's a lot lower of a risk. So, and
Yeah,
live
but I
live food.
didn't
Sorry.
anything live to my new captive bred seahorse.
So that's a good question. Are you keeping the captive bred seahorse in a different situation?
Yeah, and if I give her live food, it will not be live. It will be frozen live food.
Gotcha.
Might destroy the parasites, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I'm not sure about the technical part of it, but it's better than nothing, absolutely. And on your systems with the wild seahorses, do you do you like use any UV sterilizer or anything like that, or you don't keep them very long, do you?
So
Okay,
this afternoon I released just three. I make a video of it. I released three
cool.
this afternoon. No, I don't keep them long.
Okay, well, folks, I'm going to talk Lucy into it right now. We'll have that video linked to this channel because I want it up here because that's so cool. And just to remind everyone, Lucy is one of the biggest supporters of captive breeding efforts. She talks about her experiences with the seahorses that she catches from the wild, because she's helping scientists with their different experiments and trying to help in the environment and the population of seahorses in the wild, and studies about them. So she absolutely promotes captive breeding. We're just having a chit chat on Wine Wednesday, So, anyways, what would you tell? I'm sorry, my headphone keeps messing up. Lucy, would you tell hobbyists would you tell people that are getting ready to buy seahorses? Would you tell them that they should go with captive bred? Or, I mean, we talked earlier about how sometimes your wild seahorses are less shy. I don't have the same experience. My captive bred are not shy, but do you still think that buying captive bred is the best option?
Oh, for sure. Buying wild coat is a very bad idea for many reasons. First, they might not be used to eat frozen food, and if you have live food in big amounts on hand, it will be a big problem. Second thing is you have to deworm them, treat them for parasite, QT them, and most of the time they stay a long time at collectors without proper care, and then in the most bad LFS with good proper care, and most of the time
Mm-hmm.
they are already sick.
Yep. And a lot of times, I actually had an experience recently with a pipefish. I got into trying pipefish, and I was told after I had started trying with it that the chances are so slim if you're buying a wild caught because they've gone so many days without eating and they've been in certain conditions. And yeah, so I just wanted to throw out that reminder for anybody who watches this that Lucy's a professional, and she's working with professionals. So the discussion is just, discussion, chat over wine Wednesday, but hobbyists should definitely always go with captive bred. As Lucy said, they'll be weaned on frozen foods. They will be used to an aquarium. They won't have some of the problems that wild caught have, and the list is endless. But anyways, so Lucy, tell me. I know I've kept you for a really long time, so we'll wrap this up in a minute. But I just wanted to test the streaming a little bit more, make sure that I could still make it work. And I was so excited that you wanted to join. As soon as I get this working well, we'll have a bunch of people on here and we can really talk. But
Okay.
I really appreciate you coming out and hanging out with me on my birthday. Thank you. And I'm just curious, is there any experience that you have had with your seahorses that just stands out to you? Like, what is your favorite thing that's ever happened to you with your seahorses, or your favorite seahorse, or anything, any story that you want to tell?
Um,
I know you're like, Kelly, you keep putting me on the spot.
I
Jeez.
have nothing that came on my mind right now, but
Well, when you
let me.
do, you can tell us next time. Um, I can't think of anything else. Is there anything else you wanted to chit chat about?
No.
Okay. Well, now that you know how to do it, now the next time I will be more prepared, and I will have some videos that we can play, and I'll have a topic and we can talk about something specific. But now you know how we can do it, and you can watch it and see how it'll look. So what we really want to do is spread the message that we can do this, and then we can have a really cool Wine Wednesday once I get it all figured out. But I'm going to, Lucy, if you stay on here for just a second, then when I stop the stream, I can talk to you for a second.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stop the stream. Thank you for anybody who was watching. I'm sorry I could not see the comments.